Hello, church family. It's 2-Minute Tuesday. As I mentioned last week, from now until June, our midweek videos will focus on a collection of my favorite Bible passages, in no particular order. This week's passage is from Deuteronomy 7, part of Moses' farewell address to the people of Israel before they entered the Promised Land. Hear Moses' words to the people of God. You are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. The Lord did not set his affection on you and choose you because you were more numerous than other peoples, for you were the fewest of all peoples. But it was because the Lord loved you and kept the oath he swore to your ancestors that he brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you from the land of slavery, from the power of the king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Years ago, a friend of mine brought his young daughter to the pet store to get her first hamster. In the car on the way there, he asked, "Are we going to look for the cutest hamster or the loneliest hamster?" She had to think about it a little while, but in the end, they left the store with the loneliest hamster. The one true God behaves completely differently than you and I would expect, and certainly differently than the gods of any mythology or world religion. God's plan of salvation depended on the selection of a special people who would represent God to the world. Now, if you and I were in God's shoes, we would choose the most prosperous and powerful people to represent us. Instead, God chose the loneliest, lowliest people. Why? They're the people who most need him, and they're the people most likely to display what's most remarkable about the living God, because God is not primarily a God of power and prosperity. Although he has both without limit, God is, well, let's use God's own words from Exodus 34. He is the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Throughout the Bible, we see God repeat the same pattern again and again. He chooses the 90-year-old barren couple or the unmarried teenage girl to birth salvation into the world. He recruits uneducated, incompetent young men to bear his message and bring his miracles. He receives the rejected woman dying a slow death of shame. He visits the grieving parents isolated by their pain. He embraces those rejected by the world because of their sin or their sickness or their sadness. God is not in the business of elevating those who are already high on themselves. He's in the business of raising and restoring the lost and the least and the loneliest. He sees you and knows you and wants nothing more than to meet you where you are and lift you up to where he is.